we at?
Dr. James JC Cooley. That's right. Dr. James JC Cooley. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore them or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guests will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yeah. Dr. James JC Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Yeah.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, we've got an absolutely fantastic show coming your way. As you already know, on Wednesdays, Thursdays, we have the wonderful Paula Shaw, Bridges Beyond Grief, and we're going to talk about a couple of things today. So I tell you what, grab you about 8-9 bags of popcorn, sit back, listen, learn. Because we got a special guest coming your way that's just going to enlighten us, and inspire us. So, how you doing today, Paul?
I'm doing great, James, and I am so excited about our guest today because she has been a very special person in my life for quite some time. Initially, she actually helped my daughter when she was going through being stalked online, and I mean. The thing I love about Summer Stephan, and I won't steal your thunder, Michelle, I know you're going to introduce her, but she is this lovely woman with this beautiful heart and this wonderful spirit, and yet she goes into the trenches and deals with some of the most horrible criminals and crimes and perpetrations of innocence that you can imagine. She is one of my heroes, and I'm really excited that she's with us today.
How you doing, Dr. Cooley?
I'm doing great. I'm excited about having Summer on the show as well. I don't think we've ever had a district attorney on the show, and we are just so honored that she took time out of her busy schedule to appear on the show.
Yes, we are.
So I'm excited about getting this thing started. So whichever platform that you're watching us on, whether it's E360 television, Traffic TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, welcome to the show. And if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments on the platform that you're watching us on. Ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. Michelle, can you do the honors by introducing the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this absolutely fantastic guest?
Most definitely. So the title of this show is called Answering a Cry for Help. Sorry. And our guest host, Paula Shaw, who's a life transitions expert, grief specialist, keynote speaker, media host, and author. She is joining the show to have a sit-down conversation with Summer Stephan. She is the San Diego County District Attorney. She's going to talk about the job of a district attorney, the groups and causes that Summer is passionate about helping. She's going to talk about Family Justice Center and the important things parents need to know to make sure their children don't get groomed and trapped into human trafficking situations. So District Attorney Summer Stephan has devoted her life to protecting children and families, providing justice to the most vulnerable, and is a national leader in the fight against human trafficking and sexual exploitation. Summer rose through the ranks fighting for justice in the trenches before San Diego County voters overwhelmingly elected Summer as district attorney in 2018 and again in 2022. As district attorney, she leads the second largest DA's office in California and the fifth largest in the United States, managing a professional staff of 1,000 employees, serving as the people's prosecutor for San Diego County and its more than 3 million residents. Please welcome San Diego County District Attorney Summer Stephan to the show.
Thank you all. I'm so excited to be with you. Just incredible people, Dr. Cooley and Dr. Cooley and Dr. Cooley, and then Paula Shaw, my longtime supporter and collaborator in the community.
You know, one of the things that Summer and I do together is, they, along with Teresa Cisneros Remington, there are two big events every year, and I want to be sure we mention these, at the place that Summer is the inspiration of, that we'll ask her to talk about a little bit. It's called One Safe Place. When I went there the first time, I'd never experienced anything like it. And one of Summer's people, Tracy Pryor, runs it. It is an exceptional place. So I don't want to say anything more. We should let the expert talk about it. But James, I have a feeling you're bursting with a question that you want to ask.
Yeah, I'm going to ask the first question. It's absolutely a pleasure to have you on, just like said. When did you know that you wanted to get off into, first of all, go to law school and potentially be running for district attorney?
Well, that's it's a strange answer. Like I knew when I was 12 years old that I was gonna do something that was gonna try to make someone that was feeling unsafe and desperate, without hope and feel safety. I was looking at a National Geographic magazine, and this is the time when it wasn't on the internet. It was a live magazine. Yes. And I was a big reader, and I saw an image of some girls that looked like they were my age in a part of North Africa. But that's where the similarity stopped. They had a look of fear, a look of hopelessness. And if you know the National Geographic, the image just sears in your soul, and it seared in my soul. And I was thinking, how could girls not have like hope and feel safe? Like I feel that, and everybody needs to feel that. And I just knew from that moment, my whole life would be dedicated to changing that for someone. As I grew my career as a prosecutor and established a premier sex crimes and human trafficking division that was and named by the New York Times as the real life version of Law and Order Special Victims Unit. If you're a fan of that show, which I am, I ended up just having an opportunity to run for office, and that's what I did.
Wow. And you know what, Summer, as Michelle mentioned in your intro, you were overwhelmingly voted into this office by the citizens of San Diego. I'll bet you there weren't too many female district attorneys before you, even in the whole country, but I could be wrong about that. So talk a little bit about that, and maybe what are the duties? What's the job of being a DA? What is that actually like?
Oh, sorry that my image is frozen. We're working.
Whoops. We may, I'll explain to our listeners, to get Summer back, she may have to be going out and then coming back in. Is she back?
I'm back. I'm
perfect.
sorry. Well, I have my amazing tech team here. It's all about the team, as you know.
Thank goodness. Yes.
Yeah, so I am, yeah, I mean, what I wasn't thinking that I was actually going to run for election, because I'm not a political person. I just was thinking that I could do more. I had, as growing in the office for 28 years, I had tried 100 cases, handled thousands of cases, helped so many victims find safety, obtain justice, fought for, as young as 5 years old all the way to 80-plus-year-olds. And so I just thought of that I could do more, and that being the DA will allow me to set more policy, change systems so that we can help more victims and lift up more vulnerable people. And I was a little naive, because it's actually like a big position, and it was, quite a bit went on, but I'm just really overwhelmed by the support of the community, and being able to win by large numbers, a mandate, and as the newspapers called it, and be able to continue the mission and run again and again, have the same support and trust. So I try not to think about it still as a political position.
Yeah.
I think of it as a position of power, but power is only as good as what you do with it.
Exactly. So what are the causes that you're most passionate about, Summer? What do you most want to do with this power?
It's been the same thing as when I was 12 years old. It's lifting up the most vulnerable, making sure that they have that feeling in their heart that they are not defined by the crime that was committed on them, that they don't feel shame, and that they feel a sense of justice. We can't return their innocence many times. We can't return or turn back the trauma that has happened in sex crimes, human trafficking, child abuse, all these horrific things that humans do to each other, which is still kind of unfathomable, but
Yes.
that they feel that they were able to have someone stand up beside them and have incorruptible systems of justice that bring results. And I think, over time, I've only grown more passionate about having these systems of justice that work for the poor, for the rich, that are equal across the board, that provide justice for people who live in a tent, people who live in a mansion. I'm just continue to be very passionate about that. And so, the crimes of like domestic violence, human trafficking, child abuse, all of these, they rise to the top of the priority, not because I have favorites. As DA, I can't have favorites. I take care of everybody. It's because they need more of us, and they're more difficult to address. They're more complex. A lot of our society, I want to kind of lead with this message that I teach parents about.
Can you hold that thought? We got to take a station break. And
Of course, let's take a station break.
But don't forget that thought, Summer.
I
We'll
won't.
start with that.
I won't.
As you see, Summer's very passionate about what she does. You can just see it in her demeanor. We're gonna come back. We're gonna let her finish that thought, and we got lots and lots more questions. So if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on. Ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Dr. James, JC, Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith and learning come together to transform lives. At VCU, we believe that education is more than just academics. It's about fostering a community of growth, integrity, and purpose. Whether you're pursuing a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, VCU offers flexible, affordable, and 100% online degree programs that cater to your busy life. Our innovative platform provides a personalized learning experience, empowering you to thrive in today's ever-evolving world. Join a global community of learners guided by an experienced faculty who are committed to your success. With VCU, you're not just earning a degree, you're preparing for a future that integrates faith, leadership, and service. Viridian Christian University, educating with purpose, transforming lives. Learn more at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
Is living in today's fast-paced world making you feel stressed and out of balance? Are anxiety, sleeplessness, depression, lack of focus, or weight gain robbing you of your relationship and your energy? If you're ready for change, you need to call Paula Shaw. Paula helps you identify and eliminate self-sabotaging thinking and behavior. Using a wide variety of mind-body techniques, she provides her clients with the most effective processes for their specific needs. To book a session with Paula, call 858-480-9234. That's 858-480-9234.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and as you know, like I mentioned it today, Thursday. Paula, she is the host of today's show, Bridges Beyond Grief, and she has brought an outstanding, superb guest that I can just tell during the first segment her passion about what she is doing and just her sense of caring. I think every city need a district attorney like you. Every city needs. Yeah.
Well, coming from you, I heard you might be even knighted soon. I was like, wow, that is amazing. I love that. I wanted to make sure, and Paula, you know this, but I want to make sure that we don't forget to tell anyone who's listening, because my passion, my job is to protect everybody. I have this instinct. That's what drives me. And I think one of the things that happens is we are so focused on strangers being the source of crime. Mm-hmm. But in my experience of 35 years, the cases that are the most horrific happen not on the hand of a stranger, but on the hand of somebody who's known, that is in a circle of trust, or is someone that is supposed to take care of you. Or pretends to want to take care of you. So we should change the conversation as parents, as community members, from just talking about stranger danger to talking about just the danger that, to watch the red flags for danger and not to be fixated on whether it's a stranger, because most of the traffickers that we've prosecuted, most of the child abuse, it's done by someone who enters the circle of trust, commit this abuse, and it's not a stranger. And while the parents are looking over here at who's on the street, who's the stranger, their children are being exploited by someone that's known to them.
Yes. And I think, Summer, this is a perfect place to discuss grooming, because my hope for the show today is that it's going to inform people and save lives. So grooming is the process through which innocent girls, usually young girls, get sucked into this horrible thing of being trafficked. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because we want to educate them so that they'll have the protection of the education.
Absolutely, Paula. So, grooming behavior, it's the preparatory work that predators and traffickers, molesters do to get to the end goal, which is the actual exploitation for either commercial profit, like in human trafficking, where you're putting somebody out to be prostituted, which is essentially to be, when it comes to children, to be sexually abused every day for profit of the trafficker or for their own exploitation. It can take days, and sometimes they're so patient, it can take even years to groom somebody. It's that what I call psychological kidnap. So while people are like looking for someone being kidnapped off the street, thrown in a trunk of a car, those cases do happen, like the movie Taken, that describes or attempts to describe human trafficking. But in reality, 90% of our cases are not done that way. They are a grooming process where the predator, the trafficker, contacts a young victim on social media, labeled as a friend, because sadly our social media labels everybody as a friend when they're not a friend at all. And that person begins a conversation about how beautiful the young girl is, how smart she appears, how interesting, intelligent. That grows into a relationship where the person begins to talk about a longer term relationship or meeting in person. And then a meeting in person is arranged. Because the internet can hide the identity of the individual, they often use a face of someone who's similarly aged. And then the conversation changes and you discover that it is not that person. It's a 38-year-old, predator who's the one contacting. But by then the child has been sucked into this web of believing that this person truly cares about her. And when she's with this person, it always starts with, please do this for me just this one time. I need to, pay medical bills because my sister has a surgery. If you will just have this sexual act this one time, we can be happy together. And of course, it's never one time. It turns into a life of enslavement.
And Summer, I know as a therapist who has worked with teenage kids, every teenage child at some point or another thinks their parents just don't understand them, or they don't love them, or they don't appreciate or really care about what they want. And these groomers come in and they play this role of being so understanding and valuing this person, even giving them gifts and saying everything they want to hear, so that the innocent kid now thinks this person loves me and I can trust them. And
that's what you described, Paula, is exactly what we see. It takes time. It's a grooming process. There's an end goal for the predator, the trafficker, and the end goal is exploitation, either by the individual, which then makes it a child molest, or for purposes of commercial profit, which then
Right.
makes it a human trafficking. But on the parental part, that's why it's so important to not allow the child to isolate. In my experience, this is the number one ploy by traffickers and even domestic violence abusers, is they isolate the child or even the adult from their support systems by convincing them that those people don't actually value them, care about them. And that isolation is where the trouble begins, because then the child has no one to go to when they're in trouble.
Right. And you know what, Summer, people ask all the time when we talk about this, why do they stay? Why do they keep doing it?
And I have an answer for that. And that answer sadly comes from the mouth of our survivors. You know, we just recovered a 13-year-old girl, and you think she had a phone. Why didn't she call someone?
Yes.
How could she be at 2 a.m. on the streets,
Yes.
ready to be sexually assaulted by strangers? How could this happen? And the answer doesn't come immediately, because when we first recovered her, she believed this is a choice she made, that this is the life she was accepting, because she'd been brainwashed through the grooming and through the process. After some time, she is now talking, and essentially what keeps her there is shame. Shame is one of the strongest chains I've experienced when it comes to our victims. They're held captive by their own chain of shame, that they were fooled, that they made a bad choice, that it is on them that this is happening. And they, for a while, convince themselves that this is a choice they made, when we know that children are not capable of making these decisions. They can't consent. And so this is, you mentioned our one safe place. You know, it's about building the systems where victims can begin to unlock that chain of shame and of self-loathing, essentially.
Yes.
Understand that they have dignity, they have humanity, and they are not what happened to them.
Let's go ahead, Michelle.
I just have a quick question, Summer. There's just myths about human trafficking and the type of victims who are trafficked. Whether it's social media or movies or television, it always seems to appear that the ones who are trafficked are from lower income families. How is this a myth?
So very interesting. Years ago, when I started this fight, 20 plus years ago, we saw more victims that were driven by poverty and by being foster care kids, seeking love. Unfortunately, with the prevalence of social media, it has allowed access into every family, so that they have the time, the predators, to work on everybody and on finding a vulnerability. And that vulnerability may not at all be poverty or that they don't have parents. It may be that the child is being bullied at school or feels unloved, feels not pretty enough, which actually in the end means that we have victims in every walk of life, from mansions, from every zip code. We even mapped out our schools where we have victims from, and they ran across 90% of our county. So there's not really a household that is immune. I've had, sadly, police officers whose daughter was taken in human trafficking through the psychological kidnap, and the pain they feel because they're supposed to protect, but they couldn't protect their own children. I had nurses. I had one case where the nurse was at the hospital when her daughter came in and lied to medical staff and told them that her injuries were from a car accident. when in fact it was from being trafficked. And this was the most loving, stable home. So really, this is why prevention is the key. It's really educating about how predators work, how we can build the resilience, defense system for our kids to protect themselves, to give them the accurate information.
And, I think we should add too, before we go to break, because I have a feeling you're going to say that, JC, that sometimes drugs are given to these gals, whether they know it or not, or people who are being trafficked. It could also be men. And then compromising pictures are taken, and then the threats and the blackmail happen, or they're afraid they're going to be exposed online to their friends or their community. So it's sort of like there's no depths to which these people won't sink to keep these poor victims trapped in this life of sex trafficking.
And Paul, you're absolutely right. And we should actually talk about, we call it a chemical weapon, which is a real weapon that's used against our kids. Yes.
Yes.
We're going to hold that thought until after the break. But this is interesting. So interesting that I hope everybody around the world is listening to this. And I'll tell you what, you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is go to the comments. Ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Cooley. Heart disease research saves lives. It's that simple. Thanks to medical advancements funded by the American Heart Association, more women are surviving heart attacks, strokes, and other cardiovascular diseases than ever before. But there's still so much work to do.
Hi, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I'm raising funds to support life-saving research because every heartbeat is worth fighting for. In honor of Women's History Month, please join me in support of the American Heart Association and women's health.
The future is here.
Now is the time to pursue the greatness in you. Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith meets future. We are a fully accredited, 100% online Christian university. We offer bachelor's degree, master's and doctorate degree programs, built for students like you. Affordable tuitions, 30+ degree programs, 100% online and flexible. Integrating faith with learning. Study from anywhere at your pace. At VCU, we do not just prepare you for a degree. We prepare you for purpose. Discover who you are. Grow in faith. And build a future that impacts the world.
Are you ready to start your journey today?
Visit www.viridianchristianuniversity.com.
Apply today and be among the global leaders.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. And I tell you, I'm thoroughly enjoying this conversation. You know, Paula, you hit a home run. Yes.
Yes,
And,
I did.
and we got so much more we're going to talk about. I'm sorry, Summer, but I had to take those breaks. I know you.
I enjoy watching you on those breaks. It's great. I feel motivated. And now I'm going to tell my team, it's your life. In my next meeting.
I love it. Dream big, think big, be big.
Confidence.
Confidence, that's right.
Everything that you do. But the information that you're putting out is so valuable, especially Paula toward the end. A lot of times these girls or guys are drugged.
Yes.
Or sabotaged by people taking pictures or cameras and all of that stuff. I think we just heard a case with P. Diddy and doing all of that stuff. So this is real. This is real life.
And I think one of the important points that Summer was making came from a question that Michelle asked, which was, we think that these are just lower income poverty kids or that kind of thing who get sucked into this. No, it may be kids from the wealthiest homes in San Diego or any other community, because teenagers at their core, they're trying to find their place in the world, and there are a lot of insecurities, and these groomers know just what to say and what to do. They're sharks. And thank God for people like Summer who are in there as lovely and innocent, and what a beautiful heart she has. As I was saying in the beginning, she's willing to go in there into those dark places and find those sharks and get rid of them. And so I find myself thinking maybe a good place to go right now, Summer, is, let's say somebody listening to this show is a victim or is a parent who suspects something's going on with their child. What should they do? What are the steps to take to get out?
Yeah, so I think knowledge is power, and that's empowerment for both the kids and for the parents. If you suspect something is wrong, for example, you see that your kid is always closing the screen every time you come in the room. They don't want you to see what they're doing. You have a contract with them, which you should, every parent should, as to the proper safe use of their devices, which includes they must share their passwords with you. If they violate that, that's a violation of the contract. So violated that, and you explain to them that passwords aren't for you to snoop on them. They're for their own safety. It's for someone to know if something went wrong, how to get in the computer and find out where they may be and what has happened. So I tell parents this all the time, but one really good place to learn how to be a good social media detector parent is to go to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It is an amazing center that has a whole program called NetSmarts that teaches parents, even parents that aren't techies, how to manage their kids' social media, how to potentially get parental controls, how to get apps to be able to monitor what is going on depending on the age of your kids. So be prepared ahead of time before bad things happen. Arm yourself with that information. But if you suspect that there is, or you actually see evidence on your child's computer or device that there is a predator speaking with them, you must report it. You can report it to the National Center and to your local police department. What happens when a report is made is most regions have what we call and Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. I just visited ours this week because I wanted to see what they're up to, and frankly also because they're amazing and they are unsung heroes that have to look at these horrific images and try to find these predators and bring the cases forward. I wanted to encourage them in their work. And these task forces then follow the trail. So like one case that we brainstormed in our meeting, which happens all across our nation, is called a form called sextortion. And you mentioned it, Paula, exactly right. It begins with a simple dare, a funny, something that the kids think is funny, like, hey, I'll take off one item of clothing, you take off one item of clothing. Just a silly dare. That image then is captured by the predator, who looks nothing like the image they put on the computer. And then the sextortion begins, which means you either have to take more clothing off, or this picture will be exposed to your whole school, your whole family. And again, what do kids fear most is shame.
Right.
Having that happen. And that grows to finally threatening them for an actual live meeting and for doing more things. Believe it or not, sextortion is now also taking on an international component where it has become sextortion for actual economic gain. So these farms in different countries, that scam our elders and our seniors, which is its own big topic, they will use this to make the kid get their parents' credit card number. And in order to actually get economic advantage and monies.
Oh my
But of course, the part that I fear the most is when they're extorted for physical. This little kiddo, 13 years old, that we detected in San Diego with our task force, but she was located in another state. We sent police for a well-being check because this child had been very serious about ending her life. Because the choice between doing more and having this picture exposed, it's too much for a young child.
Oh, yeah.
These people are a special kind of evil, and fortunately, this predator is facing multiple life terms. And our team is on it, and he will be held accountable. But the ones I worry about is all the ones we can't catch.
Yes, exactly. Now, Summer, if somebody listening to this show is a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old who's trapped, what can they do? How do they get away, and where do they go?
They need to talk to a trusted adult, and that trusted adult can be a parent, hopefully, but in some cases, kiddos don't have responsible parents. And so that might be a teacher, a counselor that you confide in, and that teacher, that counselor is able to then connect and make that report on behalf of the child to the right agency that will then help the child get out of it and help really that image from spreading. Because if we have very sophisticated systems where we can do search warrants, get the IP address of where the contact is coming from, find the predator, arrest the predator, remove that image from their grasp. So we are able to help that child, but we need that report.
I see. Well, this feels like a good time to talk about one safe place, because this is one place that people can go. So please tell our listeners about this Family Justice Center that I believe was your brainstorm or your brainchild in the beginning.
Well, One Safe Place was a dream for me to open when I became DA. That was part of my motivation to run, which again, because I'm not a political person, it's to do more.
Yes.
And to be able to build a place. Because what I saw with our victims is, we were telling a domestic violence victim, we won. Hey, we convicted the offender, but that offender was the breadwinner. They were the person that supported the family financially. Now this victim is homeless. She's relying on, one couch. She's got to feed her kids. So that independence from violence, that I felt like the choice shouldn't be you get away from violence, but then you suffer basically the inability to feed your children.
Yeah.
So that was the motivation. We tell a victim, you don't need to be prostituted, but what kind of job is someone going to get when they've been trafficked and prostituted since age 13? And now we're saying, you're independent, you're free, we convicted your trafficker, but what is this person going to do in terms of the actual needs of life and of getting another job and of having a roof over their head, also healing that trauma, which you know well about through your Bridges Beyond Grief, healing that trauma. And so One Safe Place was the idea of bringing all the community partners from mental health systems, shelters, to work preparation, resume writing, all in one place so a victim can just walk in and get surrounded. So far, we've opened 3 years ago. We've had 8,500 victims. 3,200 were little kids. It's like recovering the whole family, breaking generational violence. But this idea began, actually, I want to give credit to Casey Gwynn 20 years ago when he came up with this idea, but it just needed to grow beyond and to develop into the new time that we're in. And that's what we've done.
Beautiful. And it is an incredible facility here in San Marcos. And I believe there's another one and more coming. But under one roof, there's medical, there's legal, there are police, there are counselors, there's an amazing playroom for children, there are books, there everything that you could need to get your life going again. And it becomes a community that these victims can connect with, because when they have no skills and no self-esteem and they're alone, what are they going to do?
Exactly. And we talked about isolation. They're no longer isolated. They're part of a big family that comes together to lift them up.
It's amazing.
Hold that thought. We got to take another station break.
Great.
Yeah, tell you what, this is so interesting, and I'm loving the discussion. I'm sure that our viewers and our listeners are enjoying this as well. It's not too late, our viewers out there, if you want to be part of the conversation. Just go to the comments on the platform you're watching us on. Ask any question that you might have. We'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
A Black Man's Point of View is the newest Amazon.com #1 release and bestseller book from author Dr. James J.C. Cooley, featuring the perspective from 11 other contributing authors. In A Black Man's Point of View, Dr. James Cooley unpacks his thoughts and personal experiences about the challenges, stereotypes, and feelings of self-worth that many black men face today due to a 400-year ancestry rooted in slavery and colonization. Yet, how so many black men move forward despite this history. Most importantly, A Black Man's Point of View conveys that all men, regardless of race, creed, or color, are capable of love, respect, and dignity. Described as a map to a greater life from the heart of a man who's experienced life's misfortune and harsh conditions, James shows us how beliefs, convictions, and a healthy mentality can help propel a life worth living. A must-read for all. Order your copy of A Black Man's Point of View by author Dr. James J.C. Cooley today from Amazon.com or wherever books are sold.
For those looking to improve their lives, there's nobody better to turn to than Paula Shaw. Paula helps people regain successful lives by identifying and eliminating self-sabotaging behavior using a multitude of mind-body techniques to identify and resolve their core issues. Working with a wide variety of healing modalities, she provides her clients with the most effective process for their specific needs. To book a session with Paula, call 858-480-9234. That's 858-480-9234.
At Viridian Christian University, we believe education is more than just a degree. It's a pathway to a purpose-driven life. Whether you're advancing your career, pursuing a passion, or building a new future, VCU's 100% online programs give you the flexibility to learn on your terms, anywhere, anytime. With expert faculty, personalized mentorship, and a faith-centered approach, you'll gain the skills, knowledge, and leadership you need to make a lasting impact. VCU offers bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees, each designed to empower you for success in today's fast-changing world. Join a global community of believers, learners, and leaders. Ready to start your journey? Viridian Christian University, transforming lives, empowering futures. Visit us at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. That's ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, Bridges Beyond Grief with our host here, Paula Shaw. Our special guest, Summer Stephan, is just opening up our eyes to things that are actually really happening out there.
Yes.
That we need to know about, that you need to know about. Yeah, so we got another segment of this, but before we get back to Summer, I want to tell you about this Viridian Christian University. Viridian Christian University. Yes, I'm the chancellor of that university, but we offer over 36 different degree programs, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, doctorate degrees, and honorary doctorate degrees for people that are doing above and beyond. Our school is fully accredited, and it costs about a fifth of what an ordinary university will cost you. So if you're looking to further your education from a Christian perspective, look us up, ViridianChristianUniversity.com. Again, that's ViridianChristianUniversity.com. Yeah, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Paula.
All right. Thank you. I have so much I want to talk to Summer about, but I think maybe this is a good spot, Summer. People have been listening. We've done some work to give them clarity about what the problem is. What can the average person do to help? Besides, you gave some wonderful advice about being on top of what your kids are seeing and doing on social media, because that's a huge avenue where kids get approached. But what can people do if they just care about the same kind of things you and I do and they want to help?
You know, the power of the community and really the power of each person in the community in every neighborhood makes such a difference. We've seen that in One Safe Place, the amount of volunteers that simply fold clothes, even like they don't have expertise talking to people in pain. So they just help organize and fold the clothes. We have somebody who has a fashion sense, and she helps pick out what outfits go together and has that. We have a hairdresser that volunteers to give free haircuts. We have a dentist because sadly many of our victims, they've had their teeth knocked in, and getting them their teeth kind of restored is a big thing.
Yes.
We have there's so many needs. So never think that you're too inexperienced to help. Everybody can bring something to the table. But I would say the number one thing that I see that every member of the community can do is to be engaged in their democracy. Because we're a country of laws. And sadly, at least for my state, California, for the last many years, I've seen a shift where our laws really are not in balance. They are there to protect the criminals as opposed to protecting the victims. And I've been fighting for years for simple reforms, such as making sure that if someone is buying a 16-year-old for sex, that they face a felony charge. We've seen the Epstein case. We've seen other cases. These are real cases. This is the second largest criminal industry in the United States. It took me 10 years to have that law changed recently. And there are many other laws like that. For example, this morning we sentenced a babysitter who specifically targeted children that had disabilities like autism, and she would bring them to her boyfriend for purposes of sexual abuse. And the fear is in California now that she would be eligible for parole when she hits 50 years old under a new elder parole. So an engaged community that really watches out for the most vulnerable, because without the tools, without the laws, without good lawmakers, I can't do my job to protect the community. So sometimes people get so busy in their daily lives, they're not really listening and engaging. And we don't want people to wait until it happens to their family. Let's think of everyone as our neighbors and our family, and let's stand up for each other to make sure that the most vulnerable are protected under our laws.
That is just a beautiful statement, Summer. And that's why you do what you do. That's why I do what I do. And because none of us wants to see people we love, but people, we don't even have to know them. We don't want to see young people traumatized. We don't want to see young people shamed. We don't want them to start life trying to get back to square one. We want them to start life and keep soaring. So I think what you're doing is so important toward that. And I said in the beginning of the show, I don't know how this person with this beautiful heart faces the kind of people that she has to deal with every day, in these prosecutions. But I suspect it's knowing about the people you're saving and fighting for those who don't have a hero to fight for them. I guess that's what keeps you going. Is that right?
That's absolutely right. And, I have a great team. We're the 5th largest office in the United States. So I have 1,000 talented people that I have the privilege of working alongside and leading into this noble mission of pursuing a fair and equal justice for all, protecting victims, and preventing harm where we can. That's our triple mission. And I'm very proud of the team. And honestly, I have to remember to bring them the right wellness tools as well, because this vicarious trauma of seeing the worst of humanity day after day does wear on them. So I really appreciate this program allowing me to uplift the whole team of the prosecution team that works with me.
I want to thank you so much. We're out of time right now, but I want to invite you back if your schedule permits. I certainly want you back on. So I want to thank Paula Shaw for doing it again, like she always. Summer, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Michelle Cooley, thank you. Most importantly, our viewers and our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life. And we'll see you then.
Doctor.